Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, and the entire team who's invited us here. This talk is a little different from what we are usually doing because most of the time we are talking about the standard of care guidelines. But what's been interesting for us as rehab physicians over the last, I think, 2 years is when we've been treating children who are disease modified. So most of the last two talks, you're talking about disease modification. And so we are also learning more as children sort of transition from types. So as the children go from non-sitters to sitters to walking, so that makes a large difference for us because we are always being challenged as to what next we can do. Basic things that we can really offer patients actually serial casting, orthotics, and actually what is new and what's untouched. So what's untouched for us is actually non-invasive spinal cord stimulation. So this has been really interesting because most of the data actually even abroad there's only one paper about this, and so a lot of the therapists, we have one physio parent who's super keen on this, so she's the one who educates us a lot. So this is something actually that we're trying to start and see if it makes a drastic difference in our population of children. Okay, so serial casting is like decades old. So the reason why I say it's forgotten is because it's honestly a very simple solution to tightness. And so what we're really trying to do is when we use serial casting is especially sometimes ma'am will say this child cannot have this deformity because what if the child is eligible for the next trial. So that's when we actually try serial casting as an option, and there are certain ways that we have to decide about serial casting. From an ortho point of view, we wouldn't touch anything that is a hard end field, we would just say surgery, but anything before that serial casting actually works well. So if our aim is actually to get a goal. So if you have a child who's sitting and you need proper positioning, the afternoon talk will be a lot on seating, but if we're trying to get proper positioning and trying to get the child into an orthotic for getting the child to stand, that itself is your goal there. So that's how serial casting has helped us. So this is actually, according to your older classifications, this type 1 child should never be standing, right? So she came to us with actually her ankles were contractured, and so we cast her about 3-4 times, and finally we got her to stand in a standing frame. So our goals are very simple. Now, why would you bother trying to get her to stand? So that you can improve her bone density. So your aim there is a functional goal, and so this is the first time she actually stood in our OPD. Yeah, so I must confess this is not an SMA child, but what we're trying to do is we actually get a lot of people look at especially in the neuromuscular population, people don't, they say why cast, why bother. So I think one of the things is when we work together as a team, once you have a goal, you make sure that your actions as a physician are directed towards that goal. So I think this is actually there in the West. It's sort of overtaking serial casting as an option. This is a very modifiable brace. The only thing is, by the time we import it, it costs about 17,000 just for this. So what is the advantage of it is that this is actually moldable. So it's quite comfortable. One of our children has used it, and over time you can use it like a serial caster and correct your deformity. So this is actually one of the more newer ones. Expense is an issue, but very comfortable for the child. So I'm only going to, all of us, I think, are prescribing AFOs, KFOs, and all of that. So I'm only going to talk about very few of the newer orthotics because this was meant for a physician crowd, actually. Next. So actually, one of the things that we started doing was, this is again a type 1 child. So we were trying to figure out how we can get a child with type 1 SMA to stand. It seemed very possible in the West, so why not do it here? That's when we started our HKFOs. So this actually supported entirely, but this is actually the first time again this child is standing. So some of them, what we notice is as they progress with the disease modifying therapy, we are actually able to wean off the support. So some of the children might start with orthotics all the way to the hip. You can take that off to the knee, and then you go to an AFO. So that is what we've been observing, and so that is challenges to use. Because my background is PMR, we are always experimenting with with newer joints. So our orthotics actually is very light. The joints are not your, I don't know, if you Google a KFO, this is not what you'll find in India. So that is something that's been very fascinating for us. This is actually a child, also treated child, same child. Initially she was using only an AFO and she was just able to stand. Okay, so this is a type 2 child actually. What's interesting is when she was first given gene therapy, she was able to stand, and then what happened is this is her now 2 years later. So how we've changed our program is we've become a lot more aggressive with our therapy. So this is a child that actually started for the first time in India electrical stimulation post therapy. So what happens is you can see this joint actually, for those of you who know how a KFO works, the knee actually, this joint doesn't have a strap at the knee. She's actually able to recruit her quads and hence bear weight. So that is something that she's able to do. Slowly, her mom gets her out of the parallel bar as the video progresses. So um, what's interesting is this child, if you see, her lower limbs have actually improved quite well. She is also post hip surgery because she had hip subluxation bilaterally. Earlier we were not doing hip surgeries, now that is changed after the disease modifying therapy has come in. So as you can see, we are able to wean off her support, and so we start electrical therapy for her simply because when the child is on force, she still can't lift her neck. So what the mother has said now is post electrical therapy, she is able to do that. Now we are a little cautious with using electrical therapy. A lot of parents might ask us why you're not offering it to us. Simply because we can, right now, evidence is only to use it in children who are disease modified. If you try to use it in children who have not received treatment, we actually cause irreversible muscle fatigue there. So we are a little cautious, especially in this population. So something that has actually come in is we're all aware of bracing for this population. So the guidelines is very strict. 0 to 15 no brace, 15 to 45 brace, and then after 15 degrees of scoliosis, then you're 45 degrees, it's surgery. So what happens now is if we're able to get a group of children who have scoliosis of 0 to 15, what happens is we are actually trying to see if we are able to prevent them from progressing beyond that 15-degree curve. Again, I must say these are all treated children. So we are also worried about the hips. So this is something that we are starting to use. It's called the SPIO. You get Theratox also. There is an Indian version of it which is cheaper. As long as it is made right and fit right for the child, we are finding this quite useful, especially. So most of our focus has been on scoliosis for all of these years. The children, if you notice, they all tend to have a very postural kyphosis. So that is actually getting better with this brace. Next. Next. Yeah, this is the SPO. Next. Yeah, so one of the other things that we've really not paid so much of attention to, gastrofundo seems to be the gold standard. So the last year's WMS talk, they were actually talking about mouth opening. Unfortunately, a lot of our guidelines for both hip, swallow seems to be from other sort of branches like our CP and so what they've started doing. Next one. Yeah, so this is something that actually they introduce for mouth opening. So what they do is they give a sustained stretch. So if you will notice your children, they actually measure the mouth opening, and you're able to measure this in centimeters. This is actually available now in India. So I think this inclusive of GST, you get it for about 4,000 rupees, which was much more expensive if you try to import it. So these are actually newer options that are coming. Again, the non-invasive stimulation, I can only tell you my experience with one child because we have done it only for one child in India. We don't offer it unless it is done by a therapist who's trained how to do it, simply because our follow-up of that child and progression of that is very important. So this is, I think, the latest for us in SMA rehab right now. Ah, sure.